Assalamualaikum and hi! Did you know about audience analysis? Come and let's watch this video. Audience analysis is a task to assess the audience to make sure the information provided is at the appropriate level. The first steps of audience analysis is audience-centeredness. Audience-centeredness means keeping the audience foremost in mind at every steps of speech preparations and presentation. To be audience-centered, you must keep 3 questions in mind when you work on speech. First, to whom am I speaking? Second, what do I want them to know, believe, or do as a result of my speech? Third, what is the most effective way to composing and presenting my speech to accomplish that aim? The answer of these 3 questions will help you in determine every decision that you make along the way, such as selecting a topic, determining the specific purpose, settling on your main point and supporting materials, organizing the message, and lastly, delivering the speech.
Next, psychological of audience. The purpose of psychological audience analysis is to figure out what your audience is thinking before and during your presentation. Psychological analysis considers the audience knowledge as well as their belief. For your information, psychological audience analysis explores an audience attitude, belief, values, and other psychological information about an audience in order to develop a clear and effective message. An attitude is an individual's likes or dislikes. An individual's perception of what is true or false is a belief. And a value is an enduring concept of what is right and what is wrong. How does this psychological of audience affect you as a speaker? Listeners or audience will hear and judge based on what they already know and believe. So, as a speaker, you must relate your message to your listeners.
I am the next presenter. I'm going to talk about demographics. In brief, demographic refers to information data. Information that involve age, gender, race, ethnicity, and culture, socio-economic level including education and occupation, and lastly religion. All of these variables are important because it is depending on your audience.
For instance, a factor such as age might have connections to certain patterns of belief and experiences, such as relative familiarity with popular culture or historical political. Next is gender. Areas like gender can potentially be important depending on the topic and the way that you make certain appeals based on that topic. In some situations, you can make some relatively accurate educated guesses regarding how an audience is going to respond if they primarily identify as male or female, feminine or masculine. Make sure that you do not use any sexist language or make jokes about gender. The same is going to be true of races, ethnicity, and culture. If you have members of the audience that are of a different race or a different ethnicity, it is very likely that things are going to be very different than those of the majority of your audience. Culture. Not just assume that everybody has the same cultural experiences. You need to be careful not to talk down to your audience and not to use fancy sentences and words to try to impress your audience.
Okay guys, for the next point is I will talk about the situational analysis. Like we know, situational analysis is a part of the audience analysis technique that I will talk about it in detail after this. Okay? First of all, I will talk about the definition of situational analysis. Situational analysis is an audience analysis that focuses on situational factors such as the size of the audience, the physical setting for the speech, and the disposition of the audience toward the topic, the speaker, and the occasion. Alright, to make it clear at the factors, the first factor which is the size of the audience. The larger the audience, the more formal of your presentation must be. Okay, the next one, for the disposition toward the topic, they must have 3 points. First, the interest, the second one is the knowledge, and the third one is the attitude. Then, the disposition of the speaker is a speaker credibility and competence are main factors in the audience disposition. Alright, the last but not least is the disposition towards the occasion, which is the speaker must be aware for the format of the program that which they will be speaking.
I would like to talk about audience adaptation. Audience adaptation is a process of tailoring our speech information with need, interest, and expectation of our listeners. In audience adaptation, firstly, we need to establish our goal. We should determine who is our audience by knowing their background information, such as their culture or their work. Then, we need to find the similarity between our goal and our audience. We also need to know what type of message and support will be effective for them as a public speaker. Remember, speech is not about what you want to say, and it is also not what the audience want to hear, but it is what you need to say. It is vital that you take into the situational factor that determine how you can adapt our speech to the given audience. Not all audience are the same, so even if you are giving the same topic to the same group of people, they might respond differently based on a variety of factors. These factors may include the size of the audience, the physical setting, whether it be indoor or outdoor, in the hall or outside, with or without a microphone, the disposition of the audience to the topic, for example, if they are well educated or if they are not so familiar with the topic material. Number 4, we must also consider any audience bias. For example, if you are not of their culture, background or faith, we might have to build the trust. And 5, we must also consider how interested the audience in the public that you are talking about.